Hello, Rank Carcass here again. I'm going to do another video here. This one's going to be based on the U.S. Monroe Doctrine rules. So basically it's centered around South America for the most part. However, it also includes, and here, I'm just going to read you this off the front page of the sheet. You don't really need me to be showing you that sheet. If you got the game, you've seen the sheets. Alright, Monroe Doctrine. This is under the U.S. overview on the first page of it. The USA may, notice the word may, declare war on any major power that declares war on or / attacks any zone in the Western Hemisphere. And their definition of the Western Hemisphere in brackets is North America or South America, inclusive of islands. Now, to my knowledge, and I hope I'm not wrong here, North America would include Greenland, right? And it would include Newfoundland and Canada and the US and Mexico, or, well, Central America, right? Through here, inclusive of islands. I would assume that would include Bermuda, Bahamas, Cuba, whatnot, everything down in here. The sea zones all through here, and the Falklands. That's my definition. Now, I may be wrong, but I feel like the Azores and the Canary Islands and Cape Verde Islands, they're all more or less associated with Europe and Africa for the most point, and rather distant from North and South America. I believe the point of this rule is that North and South America, or anything next door to it, gets attacked. So that's the definition of where. Now let's go into the definition of how. So any major power that declares war on or attacks any zone. Well, the U.S. can't declare war on the Allies, so if France or the British, for example, decide to declare war on anything in here, I'm not sure why they would, but if the French or British decide that they want Cuba, that would not activate the Monroe Doctrine, because you cannot declare war on someone who was part of your own alliance. So, moot point, don't bother, it's not going to change things. Alright, now let's go into some basics here. So the Germans are allowed in the rules to do a roll here to align South America, Argentina in South America. This does not count as a violation of the Monroe Doctrine. It does, however, count as give the Germans a foothold in South America, but it's not technically what's going on here. So the U.S. only get a single D12 income roll if that's the case, right? Whereas if the Monroe Doctrine is violated, which is anything is attacked, like if Germany comes in here and attacks these guys and fights them, yes, that counts as a Monroe Doctrine violation. Alright, so let's go into something else. So let's say the Germans here bring a boat down and a navy, and they decide they're going to attack that. So what happens? Well, the Germans have violated the Monroe Doctrine. So what now happens is the Americans are free to declare war on the Germans. They don't have to, but they may. Now, if they don't, then their income does not go up and everything goes on the same. I do not see any reason why you would not declare war on the Axis at this point in time, because it could instead be an Italian or the Japanese or whoever. So any of the Axis powers attacks anything, here or the islands or North America, that would count, right? So there you go. It has to be an attack on these land zones. If by some reason the Germans gain alignment of the Dutch, and they just put that on there because the Dutch are at war with the Russians, for example, with my dirty Russian thing, and then the Germans align the Dutch, that does not count as a violation of the Monroe Doctrine, only if they attack it with a troop. All right? So that's how the Axis can attack this and cause that. Now, if you watched some of my previous videos, you'll recall I have that dirty Russian video where I attack the South America with the Russians. So let's just show an example here. You wander in and bang, I've attacked South America as Russia, right? That's that crazy Russian stuff going on. So this guy gets killed. Well, guess what happens now? Now we are in a weird situation, and I'm using these dark gray guys as Axis controlled units, so bear with me here. So these are technically under German control. They are not German, but they are under German control. And if at some point in time Russia and Germany declare war on each other, then this would happen. And then this guy would become German and all that stuff, right? We switch them all out for black. So both of those cases here, let's just do that. So this is where we sit now. If the Russians and the Germans are at war with each other. Now, if you're the US player, you don't want to see anything like this anywhere around here, because the last thing you want is the Germans or the Russians to be building up units here, right? The Russians can now go into here and go into there, and oh look, now the Russians get 3 victory points, right? Let's say the Russians didn't take that dude out and they came up there instead, you know what I mean? And they took these things out, the Dutch, before they get aligned. Well, now the Germans can start floating around and they can start doing some stuff up here, right? It's not good. You do not want German and Russian roundels starting to spread all over the place here, because that is bad for the US, right? Bad, bad, bad. Bad, very bad. You do not want to be seeing a map that looks like this if you're the US. So you can declare war on Russia the second it violates this Monroe Doctrine, because Russia's opening up a can of worms where the Germans can come in and attack the Russians, right? And then now you got Germans and Russians and Italians possibly, or even Japanese down here, and they're right next door to the Americans. And the Americans don't want to be fighting anything over here. That's the wrong side of the Atlantic. They want to be fighting over here on this side. So that's why the Americans would be able to declare war on either the Russians or any other Soviets, and the Germans or any other allies or Axis, sorry, that may violate the Monroe Doctrine. So if anything Russian, Italian, Japanese, German throws a roundel on this side of the map, that's it. The Americans may declare war on that individual, no matter what time of what turn it is. It could be January 39 that the Russians roll in with their dude, right? Well, that's pretty early. Americans are at full income. They're making 63 bucks. They declared war on Russia, maxed right out income. They can do anything they want. They can build anything. They can declare war on anybody, right? They can go full production and get going. However, that might be beneficial for Russia, because that puts some extra pressure on the Germans on this side of the map. I'm just going to turn my camera up a little bit here so I don't have to be pointing at stuff out like crazy. So, increases some pressure on Germany on this side, decreases pressure on Russia over here, possibly decreases pressure on Russia from the Japanese on this side if they're being attacked. The bad thing for the Allies is it increases the ability of Russia to attack into China. Russia can now attack the KMT, which will be beneficial for the CCP, right? Russia is open to attack through Iran or Afghanistan into India. Russia is also open to attack through Iraq into Syria or Transjordan, and possibly into other islands like Cyprus or whatnot through here. Now, you never know. That's probably not the case, but this game can go all over the place. So the Monroe Doctrine, beneficial, but take a look at what else may happen, which is why it's a may declare. But if you don't declare war, you don't go to full production, you just sit there. So I don't see why you would do that. Unless, you know, you're a turn away, it's 1943 or something, or 41, 42, 43, somewhere in there, and you're a turn away from rolling your full income. Maybe you don't want to activate the Russians, right? But you can. So, there you go. Monroe Doctrine is violated, which is either German, Italian, Japanese, or Russian round will land somewhere on South America, North America, or any islands that are, I would say, within a sea zone of that, or two. All right, anything that's realistically part of North America there, like right next door, or South America, or Central America, or, you know, you get the drill. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. Monroe Doctrine. Anybody violates it, the U.S. can go to full income. They don't have to, but I don't see why you wouldn't. And there you go. So, but caveat here. Russia has declared this war by violating the Monroe Doctrine. So Russia does not go to full income because Russia initiated this war with the Americans by doing this. So Russia's still slogging away, rolling dice, trying to get more income, right? The Americans just go to full. So this does not bring Russia and America both to full production by counter-declaring war, because Russia has initiated it. The U.S. is on the defensive against Russia for breaking the doctrine. All right, so there you go. That's how that works. And, yeah. So, that's it. I think I've covered everything for the Monroe Doctrine here. I'll do another video here on the Pan-American alignment here for the U.S. It's the reason why I have so many colors here in South and Central America. Anyway, I'm going to leave you there, and have a good day. Bye.